Have you ever heard of a city so beautiful and rich, yet so wicked, that it was wiped off the face of the earth in an instant? Today, we're diving into the dramatic story of Sodom and Gomorrah, tale of judgment, mercy, and a timeless warning. Sodom and Gomorrah were shining examples of prosperity. Located in a fertile plain, they were hubs of wealth and abundance. But beneath this glittering surface, a deep corruption was rotting them from the inside out. These cities were filled with arrogance, violence, and cruelty. The people were so consumed by their own desires that they completely ignored the poor and the needy. Refusing to show even the slightest bit of compassion, their pride and immorality were so extreme that the cries of injustice from these cities reached all the way to heaven. In response, God decided that judgment was necessary. He planned to rain down fire and brimstone to cleanse the land of its overwhelming sin. But this story isn't just about destruction. It's also about mercy. Enter Abraham, a man of great faith and the nephew of Lot, who lived in Sodom. When Abraham heard of God's plan, he didn't just accept it. He bravely approached God and began to plead for the cities. He asked, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?" This incredible conversation shows Abraham bargaining with God, asking if he would spare the city for the sake of 50 righteous people. Then 45, then 40, all the way down to just 10. God agreed every single time, revealing his profound mercy and his willingness to listen to our prayers. He desires to save, not to destroy. Even though 10 righteous people couldn't be found, God's mercy was still at work. He sent 2 angels disguised as men to Sodom with a specific mission: to rescue Lot and his family. When the angels arrived, Lot welcomed them into his home, showing the hospitality that was so lacking in the rest of the city. That very night, the wickedness of Sodom was on full display. The men of the city surrounded Lot's house, demanding that he hand over his guests for them to abuse. It was a terrifying confirmation of just how far the city had fallen. The angels had to strike the mob with blindness to protect Lot and his family. The next morning, the angels urged Lot to flee with his wife and 2 daughters. "Escape for your life," they commanded. "Do not look back, and do not stop anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." As the sun rose, Lot and his family were led out of the city, a final act of grace before the impending doom. Then the judgment began. The Lord rained down burning sulfur and fire from the heavens upon Sodom and Gomorrah. The entire plain, including all the cities and everything living in them, was utterly destroyed. It was a terrifying and absolute end. In the midst of this chaos came a pivotal moment of disobedience. Despite the clear warning, Lot's wife couldn't resist. She looked back, perhaps longing for the life she was leaving behind for all its comforts and sins. In that instant, she was turned into a pillar of salt, a permanent monument to the consequences of a divided heart and attachment to a sinful world. When Abraham looked out towards Sodom the next morning, all he could see was dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. The once thriving cities were gone, reduced to a barren wasteland. They became an eternal symbol of divine judgment against sin that echoes through history. So what does this ancient story mean for us today? It's a powerful warning about the dangers of pride and injustice, turning our backs on God's principles of love and compassion. It shows that societies, no matter how prosperous, can collapse under the weight of their own moral decay. But it's also a profound story of hope. It highlights God's incredible patience and mercy, his desire to save the righteous, and his willingness to hear our prayers. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah calls us to examine our own lives and our own societies. It urges us to turn away from sin and toward a life of compassion, justice, and faith. It's a reminder that while judgment is real, the door to repentance and mercy is always open. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's most powerful stories. If this resonated with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.